You are now tuning into The Vibe with Your Boys podcast. Starring Kyle the Kid and Mega the Boy. You dig?
It's your boy Kyle the Kid and Mega the Boy, and welcome to another episode of Vibe with Your Boys podcast. How you living? How you feeling, Mega?
God blessing the boy, man. Can't complain.
God bless you. That mean you doing good. What, you getting some money or something? I'm like,
God blessing the boy.
Okay, you're going to leave it at that. I feel you. Can't tell too much. If you haven't noticed already, we got one of our top creators. Somebody's pushing the culture forward in the city. Sauce McGraw.
Hey, what's good? What's good, man?
What's going on, man?
Appreciate y'all boys for having me first and foremost, man. Like,
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Most definitely respect the platform, respect y'all time. Feel me?
Most definitely. How's everything going with you? How's your 2022 been so far?
2022 don't owe me shit. I ain't even gonna hold you. 2022 has been lit.
I've seen you saying that.
Yeah, it's like from the start, like
since January 1st.
Since January 1st, cut on God, like shit just been shit been lit. Like it's been a constant like motion forward, like growing upwards for real. So it's just like, and it's every day is something new happening. Every week is like. It's fine. That's what's dope about like doing what we do. Is kind of like no 2 days are the same. So you just gotta act like you've been here before for real. Like it should be lit.
That's
though.
right, real.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm assuming, of course, being that 2022 is going so good, you got a lot of big plans popping off.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, so before we get into any of that, we want to kind of get into like the beginning of TRSH MAG. First off, why the name TRSH MAG? I know that's a question you get a lot.
Hell yeah. Okay, so really, it was more of like it was a concept my girl came up with at the time, for something called TRSH MAG, and like she was really good with ideas and shit. She just wasn't the type to like see him through. So you feel me? At the time I met my business partner, we were like, you feel me? He had seen my work. He had been shooting for a few years, whatever. And he was like, bro, we could really get out here and fuck this music video shit up for real. And I'm like, yeah, that should be cool. I remember we got off the phone, click, and then like I watched something. I don't remember exactly what I watched. And then I called him back. I was like, bro, fuck music videos, bro. Let's like, I'm like, everybody shoots videos. Like, let's go in a different direction. Like, let's focus on like the goal was at first to focus on visual artists, right? So it was putting the spotlight on different videographers, different all types of visual artists, designers, painters, all that, right? And that was kind of like the goal. And I remember like when we were sitting there trying to think of a name, I always remembered the name that she came up with, which was TRSH MAG. And that shit just stuck with me. It probably had been like 2 years before TRSH MAG even came about. It was just like, that was a name like that just stuck with me. So when bro was like, what name should we go with? I was just like, Trash, like, fuck it, we outside. And what was funny is Trash with the A was not available on Instagram. So that's why our shit is without an A. People think it stands for something. It don't. It's just like somebody, we couldn't get the page that we wanted. So it was like, fuck it, we dropped the A out. And
work with what you got.
Say what?
Work with what you had.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much all we did. And hey, we here now. Like, that shit real. You feel me? So
got it. And then from that came the slogan: "If it ain't trash, it's trash."
Yeah, that really that was funny how that happened. That was more like, I think it was after a video shoot one day at our studio. Me and my partner were just sitting there and we were just going over like, because one of my main things to do is kind of like, I'm big on having a whiteboard, right? I feel like you got to have a whiteboard to draw out your ideas. You feel me? So I remember at our studio, I went and like we had bought like a big ass whiteboard. I used to just always write shit up there. And so we were sitting there one night after a shoot, and you know, like we just talking on shit. We like, bro, niggas ain't fucking with us. Niggas can't see us for real. And then it was just like, I forgot who said it exactly, but it was one of those things where it's just like, bro, if it ain't trash, the shit trash for real. And then from there, we just like cleaned it up a little bit. You feel me? And it kind of set up like, it kind of adds to the aesthetic of the brand overall. You know what I mean? Where it's like this fun kind of energy. Like, it's just like, that's the whole thing. It's just to keep it fun and light. Like, you feel me?
Gotcha. Now, you started off, just doing videos, taking pictures? Like, what was the start off for you?
Actually, it was I bought a camera to shoot pictures at first. I probably did like one photo shoot.
What is like high school, after high school?
This was probably like my sophomore year of college or junior year, yeah. So it was like I bought a camera and I was like, fuck, let's see what's up. Taking pictures and shit. And then as I'm taking pictures, I'm just like, bruh, I don't like pictures like that. I like when shit is moving. Like I like everything up to the moment when the picture is taken. So I was like, I might as well shoot video. And then I remember I shot a video and I was just like, damn, this is actually kind of cool. Like, you feel me? And from there, through my junior and senior year of college, or going into my senior year, I just really started taking video seriously. And it was like by the time I graduated, I was walking across the stage like I ain't even finna use this degree for real. Yeah. Like, you feel me?
Just for the
what was the degree in?
It was hospitality and management from FIU. You feel me? And it was like I was like, walking across that stage, I was just at a point where I'm like, fam, I'm telling y'all boys, I'm not finna use this. I'm only finishing up because I got folks in the rafters right now. True. But that's about it. I was like, I ain't really care for none of that for real. So yeah, it's like I kind of. It sucks though, because if I would have approached college with that mentality, I would have definitely took it for like more of a networking opportunity, but it didn't click to me until like my senior year. And once that happened, I was like, damn, this shit kind of lit for real, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Live and learn.
So you didn't even really have a love for the arts, really? You just picked up a camera and said, let me just see what it is, or?
Yeah, because it's just like, I know I'm creative as hell. Like,
okay,
I just
so
always
you always had that. Okay,
I was just like, it was one of those things though, throughout like different points in my life, it always presented itself, right? So my older brother, he went to school for film, he makes documentaries, the whole nine, you feel me? So I was always around it. Like I used to pull up on music video shoots with him, all that. And then it was probably like sometime I was in high school or something like that. And me and my cousin, we used to sit at the crib making skits all day, like, and posting them to Facebook, just doing all types of fun camera work. Because at the time, they had just dropped the fucking iPod Nano that had the camera on the back of that bitch.
Yeah, okay.
Cause I was going crazy, no lie. Like I was even shooting like freestyle videos of the football team. Like they'd be like in the locker room, like before practice or after a game or some shit. I was just like, hey, y'all boys, you feel me? Let's see up. So I used to do shit like that. And it was funny though. Like when I finally did take it seriously, I was like, damn, bro, like to look at it, I like the shit has always been there. Yeah. I just never really like took it seriously. It's just like running away from the things that's right in front of you type of deal. You get what I'm saying? So
gotcha.
Hell yeah.
And then from there you went to videos, and then you said you wanted to do music videos, right? That's what you was doing.
Yeah, it was like even then, once I started, it was really just with music videos. You get what I'm saying? So it was one of those.
Did you enjoy doing that though?
The music videos, hell yeah. Because it was more so about what I really appreciated was being able to like cultivate a whole vision and just like execute on it, right? And collaborating with the artists and shit like that. And so I knew it was something that I was meant to keep doing, just given that the pace that shit was moving, right? So when I first started off, it was like within months, I was just like, you feel me, just grasping all kind of shit, all kind of concepts. Because like ahead of the, you know what I'm saying, me shooting videos, I used to make music, right?
Yeah.
And the way that I used to write songs was like I had to visualize it in my head. And
you was like, a rapper? You was a singer?
Rapper.
Yeah. What was your rap name?
It was Sauce McGraw.
Sauce McGraw, okay.
Yeah. So it was just a quick translation.
Right.
But it was like I realized that shit, and I'm like, damn, if I gotta visualize some shit to write some shit, why not just stick to visualizing the shit, right? So I did that. And then within months, it was just like the recognition I was getting from folks, and even like other videographers I was working with that I used to hire to shoot my videos were like fucking with my shit. I'm like, damn, bro. I was like, I used to pay y'all niggas like $500 a video, like, and now they like, yeah, bro, this shit hard. And I'm like, all right, bet. You feel me? So, it was some very pivotal moments and early on that just was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this bitch going. Cause like Trash Mag started probably within like 6 months of me shooting. You get what I'm saying? Gotcha. Like it was one of those things. Like the shit just started moving rapidly. Like you feel me? Like shooters like 20K Visuals, who's really, you know what I'm saying? You shoot for Kodak and all them. I remember that was like one of my first bits of confirmation was like somebody like 20K was hitting me up trying to work, and I was like, damn, you feel me? But shouts to Val from New Era. I remember like being at the studio one time and I was telling him about it. And Val was just like, man, I'm gonna tell you, just always be your own man in this shit. Like, he's like, whenever you do a business, just always be your own man. He was like, I ain't finna say too much, but just be your own man. And I remember like that was something that
It just
always
stuck.
echoed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just stuck with me. And I was like, Val know what he talking about. So I kind of like, I fought with 20K at the time, but I had to just keeping that in mind. And thank God I did, because it gave me the breathing room to create something like Trash. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I would have been like anybody else that get caught up in the hype, you like, yeah, this nigga around Kodak, this nigga doing now. I'm like, I never really was one for the hype to begin with, so played out like that.
Another thing that I've been seeing floating around on the net, you as a videographer at that point, what is your take on the other side of the camera where you're filming a music video and there's like 100 guns pointed at the videographer?
I ain't gonna lie.
If you ever been in that position.
The niggas that play that kind of game, bro, they got that. I was never, I was never one of them boys like, you ain't about to point shit at me. I ain't going out like that. We ain't doing none of that, bro.
Finger control.
Yeah, I ain't, y'all boys, come on.
It don't matter if finger control or not.
I don't want none of that shit. Don't point it this way, none of that. Because what was crazy is there was this movie that came out. I want to say it's the same dude who created the Fresh Prince series that's out right now. He got a short film called You Shoot Videos, right? And it's based on this videographer from Kentucky, I want to say. And basically, bro was shooting a music video, niggas playing with the guns, gun went off, and it was the camera lens that saved them from getting popped. Yeah, the camera lens saved them. Like, the bullet got lodged within the camera. But it was like, if it wasn't for that, bro would have been, you feel me? And it's like, shit like that's why I don't even play that. Like, when niggas, and then another thing is, as you do this, bro, you realize, okay, you want to collect a YouTube check. YouTube is not letting guns slide for real.
Yeah, you can't monetize.
Yeah, it's like, YouTube is not fucking with that for real. So just playing it like that, I just always avoided guns in my shit. I was like, I don't like it. Hell no, I ain't about to cap for you, none of that. Like,
and as a creative, I can only imagine there's different ways to portray a picture without actually having to have guns and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's one of those, like, everybody uses the guns for like the same shit in their videos too. It's like, we got some mobsters or somebody's getting robbed or we just want to look hard with 20 niggas in the kitchen. Like, that shit dead to me. So I don't take part in none of that.
Have it gotten to the point to where he's like, yeah, we're not going to do that. How about let's do it like this? Because I'm assuming a lot of times artists, they got their crew with them. They want to do that. So
do you come up with the treatments for the video?
Yes. Okay. And that's what I think differentiated us from a lot of what was going on. It was like, it wasn't that we weren't listening to the artists when they came to us. It was like, all right, we're going to work with you and scope the vision. But, like, just be mindful, like, we not finna ride with everything that you want. You feel me? And so we started going in the direction of doing treatments and shit like that, and that just completely changed the ball game for us on the music video side. You get what I'm saying? And that gave us that ability to avoid having guns incorporated when niggas wanted guns. Like, niggas like, oh yeah, we want to have this kind of robbing scene, da-da-da. I was like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? Let's do something else instead. We can still get the same effect. You feel me? Still get the same effect out, but we don't have to actually pull out weapons and all of the regular shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Gotcha. And then, so from the transition to that, what do you call, like, visualizations of the songs that you do now? Like, what is
you're talking about like the performance shows, right?
Yeah, the yellow background and
all that.
What would you exactly call that?
So the yellow background is called Trashed, right? And then
like, I mean, as far as like the name of that, like, particular
like that style of visual is just, it's just a performance, I guess.
Okay.
Because it's pretty much just a performance, really, because it's not like we're even doing it live for real. You know what I'm saying? It's very similar to a music video.
It's different scenes.
Yeah, it's just like we just got different angles. Throw the song over it, call it a day. And what's dope about it though is what I really came to appreciate about doing that is that it helped me become a better editor when it comes to like music videos and shit. Because I'm really only working with like 4 angles of the same exact thing. Like, how can I make this look interesting? And it's like, you feel me? Got a couple mil off of it, so it's like this shit must work. You feel me? But like that just kind of like ushered in this whole thing. Like, a lot of people are doing performance shows and shit now, which is dope as hell. Like, And just everybody's doing their own interpretation of it.
Exactly.
Like, I think it's lit as fuck for the culture for real.
And that idea came of you just wanting to do more?
That really happened because it happened because it was like we had this client on contract, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the stipulations of everything was that we'll provide them with some content pieces each month, and one being a video outside of a music video. Mm-hmm. So the day comes and we're like, fuck, bro's on his way to the studio. What the fuck we gonna do? Mm-hmm. And so we had just bought a yellow backdrop, and I was like,
this is on the fly.
Yeah, this was really on the fly.
That's where some of the best ideas come.
Yeah, like, you feel me?
Scrambling, yeah.
So it was like, I was like, fuck, we just bought this yellow. We ain't used it yet.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's break it out. And then there was at the time there was another performance series that we were helping out that was that they used to shoot at the studio. And I was like, I bet. I hit Shorty that had the what you call it. She's now a part of my team actually though. Mm-hmm. Well, I hit her up and I was like, yo, come through with that mic stand for me real quick. Like, we got this client. I just want to do this quick performance. And so while she was on the way to the studio, me and my boy was just standing there. It was like, fuck, what kind of angles we gonna grab? Mm-hmm. So it was like, fuck it, let's grab every angle possible, and we just gonna choose what looks good at the end. We probably spent like over an hour, 2 hours shooting that shit. Mm-hmm. We were doing everything, and then in post is where I really like cultivated everything, and it was like, okay,
yeah,
like, this could be hard. Yeah, I was like, this shit is hard. We did it the first time, then the second time happened, and was like, okay, like this shit is actually like fire. Because after the first one dropped, people were like, yo, how can I get on this? And I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
And second time was just like, okay, like motherfuckers is really feeling this. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember at which point. But it's funny. There's this guy Jay who runs World Star. Used to run World Star. Not sure what his position is, but like recently I had a meeting with him, and he was like going through our YouTube. I never looked at this, but he was like the progression from artist to artist, like from how it started into how quickly things turned up is insane. And he's like, usually it's a slow start. He's like, y'all went like 2-3 episodes, and then all of a sudden, SpottemGottem, FSO De Niro, DKE Arthur. It's like, it was probably only 2 episodes before we really got to like the niggas. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And it was just like, it was just like that shit turned up like out of nowhere. I remember after our second, third episode, somewhere in there, I'm on a bus, this party bus headed to a shoot, and this videographer comes to me. He's like, yo, my folks want to get his artist on your platform, like on your performance show. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Line it up. I get the number, exchange numbers with bruh. And then the producer calls me and he's like, yo, shouts to Beto. He's like, yo, it's Beto. I got this artist, SpottemGottem, that wants to, you feel me? I want to get on y'all shit. And I was like, oh, bet, line it up. You feel me?
At that point, did you know who SpottemGottem was?
Hell no. Nah. Okay. I had no clue who Spottem was. All I know was I was like, I bet, line it up. I ain't even look at Spottem's Instagram or nothing at this point. Mm-hmm. I was just like, all right, for sure. Like, send me some shit through. I listened to the music. I was like, all right, this shit gas. And I was like, let's line it up. And it probably wasn't until maybe a couple days before we actually shot that I actually looked into who Spottem was. And I was like, oh, like, this little nigga lit. Like, at that point, he wasn't like the Spottem that we know, of course, but he was still very lit. And when that episode dropped, that shit went stupid. Like, that changed the whole trajectory of everything. So, like,
did you eventually do beatbox for him on that platform or no?
What was crazy is though we did have I went back a while back and like looked at all the songs that they had sent us at the time, and beatbox was in there.
Oh, but they let you choose?
Yeah, we ended up because the way the platform started out was it was just strictly unreleased records, right? So people were like, "Oh, to premiere a new record, let me come fuck with Trash." You feel me? So it was like we had a whole bunch of unreleased Spottem. Yeah, and that's what gave us a lot of leverage too. And like, they sent us a whole bunch of unreleased records. I was like, I bet, and we ended up choosing the hardest one, which I still think to this day, like, of course, beatbox took off. Yeah. But if you actually like fuck with Spottem's music, you'll know like there's the song that we did, No Coolin' Kid, is probably one of his hardest songs. Mm-hmm. Like that bitch is thorough, cuz like for real. But yeah, that's how that whole shit went down.
Gotcha. And then as far as it taking that next leap, was it the Trackstar that made it take the next leap? Or?
I think Trackstar was like that first like it was that first like, oh shit moment when
How'd
it
that come
happened.
about?
That happened because so my producer Des, she actually came across a song back in like September or whatever. And she, you know what I'm saying? She had showed it to me. I was like, this shit cool. I was like, if it ain't sped up, it ain't finna hit how it's supposed to. It's not till I heard the sped up version of the song. I was like, oh, this shit real deal. So from like October, November, we had kept trying to get Mooski down here to shoot, but he was up in Alabama or some shit like that. And then January comes around, and we like, at this point, we were kind of like over Mooski. We were not necessarily over the song, but it was just like, all right, fuck it. Let's just move on to like, let's move on to the next. You feel me? Like, whatever. And then we're just like, fuck it. Let's just take one last shot. And when we did, he just so happened to get up with a management label that was down here that my producer ended up knowing. So then she was like, yo, you think we could like, because we was really like, it was like, fuck, trying to get him on the performance thing. Let's shoot the actual music video for Trackstar, right? And so we ended up getting that link. And then when we hit him up, the same day we hit him up to come through, they were actually shooting the music video. So I was like, nah, I was like, damn. We was like, fuck it. We'll just put him on a performance show. You feel me? And then the following day, they were still shooting the music video, but they came through. And even after we got done shooting the performance, they still stayed at the studio and were trying to shoot some more of the music video and shit like that, which was, it was interesting to say the least, because probably about a week later, we got into a meeting with him, and like, I'm one of those people, bro, I'm gonna say how I feel. I don't really, you feel me? Like, it's like life short, so I like, they was asking us opinions about shit, and I was just like, I ain't gonna lie, that shit y'all was shooting, that y'all like,
they were shooting it for Trackstar.
Yeah, it was for Trackstar. I was like, that shit y'all was shooting, that shit ass. And I told him straight up, and I was like, the reaction on the phone was kind of like, who the fuck this nigga think? Yeah, you feel me? But I was like, bro, like, I can't help it. I remember getting off the phone, like, I'm on the phone with my team, and they were just like, yo, you trippy, you shouldn't have said that. I was like, fam, they either gonna respect it or they don't. And what happened? That music video never dropped.
Never came out. Because while you're talking, I'm thinking, I'm like, that video never came out. Because the video that we saw was with Coyle Ray and everything after.
And that shit came out way after. You get what I'm saying? So
gotcha.
And it was one of those things, like, I thank God for that. Like, I was able to, like, get into their heads a bit to shut down that idea of the music video they were going with. And in turn, that gave us all the time we needed for our episode to move along. And it was just like throughout that time.
Because
that was the only that was the only promotional material
like the unofficial video for it.
Exactly. And then like that was like the first like pillar moment for us. And then a few months later, Capella Grey was somebody that came across our radar. And we were just like
Gallus.
Yeah, I to this day I'm not too fond of I think the end of the record is better than the entire record. I always said that from the jump. I was like, the beginning is very like, it's rough. And you could tell it felt like a demo track to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I think he says is like a freestyle. And
and it was just like how it started off. I just wasn't fucking with it. And I even remember sending it in group chats. And I was like, y'all think this shit hard or not? Niggas like, nah, this shit ass. And then as I kept listening to it, I was like, you know what? Like, as much as I don't like the beginning of the song, the second half of the song is gas. Like, this bitch can go. And so, this was around the time Trackstar started to move. You feel me? We just did our thing with Suki and a couple other notable names. And then Gallus happened. And I remember editing that video on my way to go shoot Cut 'em Reese in Orlando. Like, we all deep in my truck sliding to go shoot in Orlando. And I'm in the front seat. Like, I had my producer driving my truck, and I'm in the front seat with my laptop just editing this episode. I'm like, we got to drop this bitch today. And then once we got to the studio in the middle of shooting the Cut 'em Reese episode, we dropped the Gallus video. And it didn't take off as fast as Trackstar did, right? As far as like the reception that we got. But it was like maybe within a month time,
steady.
People were just like latching onto it. And then by the end of the year, it became one of the biggest records in New York, the country altogether. So it gave us a lot more leverage.
On my end, as I guess you could say, like, I'm the viewer, I'm following you on Twitter, I'm seeing you like, Gallus gonna be the new Trackstar. Something like that. And I hear it, I'm listening, I'm like, he may be right. Actually, I'm going around like my friends, I'm like, yo, heard this song? I'm like, yo, I think this could be like new Trackstar type shit, like how we just couldn't escape the song.
Yeah, facts.
And to me, you doing those videos, I would say helped like break it in a way.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Because that was the only video that they had out at those times.
That's
People
true.
like to listen to the songs, but they also like to get the visual with the artist.
Exactly.
So,
and it was one of those things. Like, I think that's why even for the to the day why the labels fuck with it, like fuck with what we do, is because it's like, here's your chance to like promote your shit without necessarily having a music video for it until you can get a music video in order. And I mean, there's times where the label might drop a music video and it's still like our shit to be harder. Like for instance, most recently, what's his name? Rob 49. He just dropped a remix to his song Vulture Island with Lil Baby on it, right? And I remember I had got to preview the track like a couple days before it dropped. While I was at the studio, and I was like, this shit hard, but I was like, I don't know. I felt like Lil Baby was gonna kill the record, like, and not in the sense of like, you feel me, hop on and kill it, but like in the sense of like
take away from the record.
Yeah, once that record, you drop Lil Baby on a remix, the shelf life of that record is kind of like over with.
Because usually you drop a remix to prolong.
Yeah, and it was like the song. I felt like I didn't feel like they maximized on that record. Yeah, it was like because each angle that because a key thing with Trash Mag, right, is like we're very good at identifying like different shit within like marketing and shit, right, and branding. And one of the things I noticed, I was like, fam, they're not seizing the opportunity off of. There's a part in the song where he's like, yeet, yeet, da da da. And that yeet, yeet part in particular was very, very like, when you first hear the song, that's what's going to catch you. But they went about every other part of the song promoting it for the longest. Like, they had a whole TikTok challenge going on, like thousands of videos made to the song. I'm like, that's the wrong part of the song to be promoting. Then the song died. The song dropped off for a little bit. Then they gave it a second life by promoting it on meme pages. I'm like, all right, cool. And then that's around the time we dropped the episode. And like for me, the way the song was, it was like a very high energy song. So that's the way I paced my editing for that episode. It's probably one of my favorite episodes to date. And it was like, I'm just seeing how the record's moving. You know what I'm saying? Like now the Portland Trailblazers are fucking with it. It's moving. Meek Mill fucking with it. And I'm like, this record just might go for real if they just switch it up. Yeah, just focus on the yeet yeet part. I'm telling you, it's go. And then, of course, the remix with Lil Baby just dropped. And what was interesting is in the music video, the way the music video is paced, it was paced to mirror the edit that I had put together of the actual live performance. Like watching it, I remember I was at the airport. This was like last week on the way to New York. We was looking at it, and I just watched a piece of the video, and I was like, yeah, this shit cool. But then when I really like watched the rest of it, I was like, fam, this is literally just like the same kind of edit that I put together. You get what I'm saying? They're trying to match that energy. But it's one of those things like that happens when you're doing these performance visuals and shit like that. It's like it's up for grabs for real.
Gotcha.
So like folks gonna bite, folks gonna, you feel me, play it how they play it. It's all up in the air for real.
Do you consider yourself like an A&R, somebody who has an ear for music?
Most def, yeah. And it's funny, I've had that a meeting. Actually, like last couple of weeks, I've been having meetings around that. So there's this recently I was in a whole meeting and these folks had me tied up like the whole day, and they were just like they were just talking to me. Yeah, they were just like playing me all types of dope shit. That's how I got to hear the Vulture Island remix before it dropped and shit like that, because them folks was cool with QC and shit like that. And yeah, they put me on. It was just like, fam, like we really fuck with what you do. You ever thought about being on the other side of the music? You know what I mean? And this is coming from Jay. Jay is the guy who used to the World Star guy I was telling you about, and now he has his own label. And that label is where like Hot Boy, YNW Melly, SpottemGottem, Fredo Bang, most like anybody that's lit in Florida outside of Kodak and Dirk is signed to that label. You feel me? So I said Kodak and Dirk, Kodak and Raw Wave. So outside of those two, if you're in Florida, your chances are you're signed to them folks. So bro was just talking to me. He's like, bro, I fuck with y'all platform. And he's just like, yeah, man, you know, he's like, I came into World Star when World Star was at the size that y'all at currently, and I helped turn it up to like 10 mil, And you feel me? And bro was just like, he's like, I love what you're doing. You ever thought about being on the other side, like the A&R side? I'm like, I like, yeah, you feel me? I was like, I thought about it, but I was like, I wouldn't take on anything like that without trash being involved. Cause it's like, I'm not gonna find every record every time. You feel me? It's just like, I'll locate some shit. I'll tell you if I fuck with it or I don't, but it's like, it's too much music out here to really be on top of everything. And what happens now, essentially, bro, like, I had a meeting with this one TikTok influencer like about a week ago. And we was talking about this. It's like early on, you have this passion for finding new music. Like I was a huge music nerd growing up, bro. I'm talking about like fucking 6th grade, bro. They used to pass out the little map books and shit. Fam, I'm opening it up. I'm going to XXL. I'm looking for the newest music, and that was me all the way into college. I was just always on top of the newest songs. Like I had to have them. I ain't give a fuck. I used to LimeWire all day. When LimeWire went down, FrostWire all day. I was just, you feel me, finding ways to always be on top of new music. And so like the conversation I was having with this kid was like, there's this feeling you get from discovering some new shit, right? But what's happening now with the way things are is once you start building up a reputation for shit, it becomes harder because now the labels kind of like, they fuck up what you hearing. Like now I can't necessarily say I'm coming across new music how I used to. It's more so like new music is getting like sent to us.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. It's not like I get to go out and
Go
genuinely,
hunting for it.
and that's how we came across like Mooski and Capella, was us just going out and hunting. You feel me? It was like, what's new? But now it's so oversaturated to the point where it's like, fuck, it's hard to really tap in with like what's really going on. So I've just been in the past couple weeks just been trying to find a different way to like go about discovering new music, having interns look into new music, tapping in with different pages, and really just leveraging all different types of mediums to find new shit.
What do you think is, we live in a society now, everybody has an opinion. Everybody is a critic. Everybody says, oh, I can be an A&R. What do you think as far as your ear is different from everybody else? Because somebody could have heard a track star, like how you said, oh, if it gets sped up, but somebody was like,
Facts.
or it's Gallus or Cooling Kid. Like, so what does it take, you think, to have an open ear? Because certain songs you can realize and be like, you know what, that's not for me, but I feel like other people may like it. Yeah. And not everybody has that. They just call it trash or ass. And it's like, ass to somebody else can be.
Yeah, it could be gas to somebody else. So I think it boils down to like, I think it's like the quality of a person, right? Like if you're somebody that's very empathetic to others, I feel like you're more likely to just be open to hearing new shit. Like that's, I think like, I was telling you about this most recent meeting. Like these folks had me in the studio. They started playing country music. I've never listened to country music in my life, but I was in that bitch like, yo, this bitch hard as hell. You feel me? And I think it's a matter of just willing to be like not only empathetic but also putting yourself in a position of vulnerability, right? Because we listen to music that we oftentimes try to relate to and emulate certain things, etc., right? But it takes a bit more to be listening to some shit that you probably don't even relate to. Like I'm listening to niggas talk about mudding and doing all this other shit in these country records, but I'm like, yo, this shit is hard. Like this ain't for me, but I know people will appreciate this. And there's certain faculties that go into like music in general, whether it be like a voice, a cadence, certain shit that you just gotta look for. And you feel me? I think that's like one of the key things when it comes to like opening up your ear beyond like what you used to. It's just that being willing to like, fuck it, this is a new space for me, but I'm willing to sit back and see what it offers. Like free myself from like trying to judge it, all that shit. I'm gonna just like listen to it for what it is and appreciate the art for what it is.
Gotcha.
I got a question. So, because you was doing music videos, so obviously you was getting paid to do your music videos.
Hell yeah.
At what moment that check that you receive, it don't have to be a big check, it don't have to be, what's that check that you receive off of trash and you're like, this is crazy. Like not necessarily music videos.
I know what you mean.
Videos, or whether it's the performances or whatever. Or whatever. What was that check that made you be like
oh shit,
we got one?
Oh damn.
Let's talk about
it would have been the damn. It's a couple of them, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
That first one.
Yeah, I'm trying because there's like, I would say that moment that we got our check from YouTube, like our first real check, right? Because to even be able to monetize on YouTube, you have to hit certain goals, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, even when we were doing our thing early on, we still hadn't reached the point of monetization because you got to have a certain amount of subs. You hit them subs, but then it's like, now you need 4,000 watch hours. And 4,000 watch hours is insane, bro. Like, especially when you're putting out music content, that's only like 2 minutes a piece, right?
Well, they got to watch it through?
Yeah, you feel me? And it's like, you got to have 4,000 hours, fam. Like, that's a lot.
4,000 hours?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
That's a lot. So, you feel
At
me?
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
wow.
And you do it. You try to hit 4,000 hours, dropping 2-3 minutes a piece of content. Like, and it's not like every day we dropping content.
Yeah.
This is once a week we were dropping content at this point. So around the time Trackstar hit, we had just gotten monetized. So it was like the universe just aligned. And then when we finally like went through everything and got our first check, I was just like, damn, I'm like, we could really get paid off the strength of this YouTube shit for real. But then it's like, what we quickly learned, which is the second thing I was about to say, is like, doing those performance things, it's like, it's cool. But what happens is, when these artists do go viral and they take off and they get signed to a label, the label be like, psych.
Yeah.
I'm like, cutting that off. And you lucky if they don't be like, I want all that shit back. You feel me? Yeah. They
like the money?
Yes, they be
Everything
playing that
that you
game.
made
Yes.
before they even got in the picture?
Yes.
They could do that.
Yeah, they could do that.
Sucker.
They could do that.
Because now they own it.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's tough.
Granted, we haven't been put in a situation like that, but we have been in those situations where it's like, all right, we making money for a while, artists get signed to a deal, that money gets cut off, right? So
is there an anger that happens at that point, or is you understand this business?
for me, initially, I was upset by it.
Yeah, of course.
Granted, you know what I mean? I'm like, fam, like, I'm putting in this work.
We got a nigga trying to eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it was one of those things that just gave me like motivation. And I'm like, all right, now we got to figure out how else we can make bread out of this. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like early on we weren't charging artists to be on. We just genuinely did it because it was like the music was good. Let's move. Or it's like when you're trying to build something, capital is key. So the next major moment was when we ended up closing our first like record label on a deal for our shows. And I was like it had been like months in the making. Like we were just like, yo, how the fuck do you even?
So they paid you to have an artist?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was tricky like for the whole time because at this point our DMs are being filled with all kind of A&Rs and digital marketers and all these folks and emails just the same. And we're like, how the fuck do we tell these people, hey, yeah, we fuck with that nigga, but this shit ain't free for real. Yeah. And sometimes when you talk to people like that, they, the fuck?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that. So, at that point that niggas figured out the lingo and how to spin it for real. And we finally, it was like, all right, bet. Them folks was like, yeah, we about to pay y'all through PayPal real quick. Draw the invoice. And I was like, nigga, what? It was like, it was insane. Like, because around the time we did, who was the first artist? I don't remember who the first artist was, but it was Atlantic Records. That was the first label to pay us. And it's consistently been like our best like client so far. And that's like the folks like the shorty that I'm cool with that works at Atlantic, she just shows mad love. Like, because what happens in this shit, bro, a lot of people come around and they like, do this for me this one time, and I'm gonna make sure like I take care of y'all going forward.
Favors.
Yeah, and it be cap. Yeah. A lot of niggas just get what they need, and then it's like, oh yeah, let me get a little more. Oh, let me get a little more. All right, then we can talk about it. This one, she was just like, there was this shorty named Juicy Fruit from she had I guess she had like the entrance song or theme song to P Valley, his TV show, right? Mm-hmm. And at first I wasn't too big on it, but you feel me? Her shorty shit, it was hard. And then she was just like, yeah, just take care of my girl Juicy for me. I'm gonna make sure Atlanta takes care of y'all from here. And I was like, oh, word? I was like, all right, let's test it out. We did it. And ever since then, it's just been like, oh, shit. And just navigating that space of knowing how to talk to labels and how to talk to managers and knowing when, like, how to conduct business because certain people will try to hold you. You feel me? That's all this music shit is about. It's just holding one another. You just gotta...
You're starting to see, like, the viciousness of it.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'll be the first one to talk my shit. I'm like, we some Florida niggas, cuz we don't go for nothing. We don't go for nothing. Like I've had plenty of instances where I've had to like kind of like check folks. Like, damn, this ain't what you think it is.
I'm not from no bumpkin.
Yeah, we ain't one of them boys. Yeah. We ain't chasing clout. We ain't doing none of that. I was like, this is what it is. Either you want to engage or you don't. And then there's times where folks would be like, oh, but my artist got like 2 million, my artist got 1 million. We doing this and that kind of streams. We doing this many views. I'm like, fuck, they don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, it don't mean nothing to me because at the end of the day, the platform is very much so Florida based. So I tend to the Florida ear, right? So it's like, I'm not finna put a nigga on that's sounding like a nigga that's doing drill music, like that New York drill. Niggas in Florida not listening to that like that. You feel me? So it's like, it's cool, but let's be for real. You feel me? So it's a lot of situations like that where niggas just be having to put your foot down for real. And the game is vicious though. I say that. It's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of trying to hold each other out. It's like somebody's getting hold and now their mission is to hold you out before you even realize what's going on. And the good thing about Trash is like, it's not just me. You feel me? It's a team. So it's like, you probably might be able to work an angle with this person, but the good thing is that we communicate, right? So there's times where we'll have somebody that'll go like to my producer, then go elsewhere, then come here, then come there. And then it's like, what the fuck you doing, cuz?
That's why it's good to keep that communication, because
we just shut shit down at the door. We just like, hey, cuz, we ain't going for none of that. You feel me? So yeah, shit is very interesting though.
Gotcha. So with what you do, with all the creative, you got the different concepts and different shows. You're more than a videographer. Would you call yourself a director? What would you call yourself?
A creative director.
Creative director.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something over time I realized just what it was, right? Like with music, it was kind of like I really love being able to sculpt, like, you know what I'm saying, like a piece of art, which was a song, right? And then when it came to shoot music videos, it was like, all right, now I can direct an actual visual and put this whole vision together. But as I got into as I got deeper into the business side of Trash Mag and the branding side, I realized that I just love like having creative control over certain things where it's like I have an idea and I'm like, fam, I know this bitch can work. Just trust me. Like, we do it this and that kind of way, we can get this kind of result. And it was like that confirmation came as things started getting bigger and bigger. And it was like, all right, I got to own this role for real. Yeah. So like these days, I don't shoot too much. I'm mainly on like the cultivating ideas. I edit, but shooting is kind of like, it's like a here and there kind of deal. You feel me? Like as far as the music space goes, like I do shit outside of Trash and shit, but for like the music space, I just primarily just like creative direct now.
So that being said, do you have like directors, big or small, that you look at like they inspire me, like, or like, you know, you got Hype Williams, like, do you have those type of people that you look at?
You know, I would, because I never consider myself like a traditional director or videographer or none of that. So it was like coming into this shit, I didn't necessarily have anybody that I was looking up to, right? It was more so like, I just want to shoot shit. I just wanted to look good. And it was like, I think for me, it's always been a competitive spirit, right? So I see the peers around me and the people I used to work with, you feel me? And I'm like looking at people like Benny Flash and Wavy Lord at 20K and shit. And I'm like, I'm going to be better than y'all. I ain't give a fuck with how. I was like, I know I'm going to be better than y'all. Just watch. And that's what kind of drove me, you feel me? And then once I got Trash Mag to a certain point, it's like I just started looking at other platforms and I was like, all right, Complex, I'm on your neck. Like, I'm going to come for that.
That's funny you said that. When I think about your, I'm like, this man is building a complex type of situation.
I'm like, Complex, I'm coming. Like, Revolt TV, I'm coming. Lyrical Lemonade, I'm coming. Like, we coming for all that. You feel me? So, yeah, like, but to answer your question, it's like, not to say I'm not necessarily inspired by anybody. It's just competition always inspired me.
Got you.
And so it's
to be great.
Yeah, it was just like, I gotta, you feel me? I gotta do better than these niggas. Like, and then that comes from being, you know what I'm saying? Like, you from Broward, you know what I mean? And it's like Miami always overshadows shit.
The chip.
Yeah, it's always this chip on my shoulder. So it's like I operate with a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, I got shit to prove. You feel me? And yeah, that's really what was like my driving factor. It's like, I got a shit list, and I'm like, I'm checking shit off as I go. Like, I'm checking names off as I move along. You feel me?
Gotcha. Now, I kind of want to venture off and ask you something that's being talked about all around, the slap that everybody's talking about.
That shit's insane, bro.
Chris Rock. But I want to ask from a creative side, because Will Packer was the producer of the Oscars.
Okay.
So let's say you were put in charge and that was your production. You're putting the Oscars together.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be your moment. And Will Smith or whoever
That's a good question.
slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah.
But it outshines your moment. It outshines the
Every
fact
moment.
that Will Smith got his first Oscar. It outshines the moment that Samuel L. Jackson got his first Oscar. And people are not even talking about the work that you put into it. How would you feel that happened?
Damn. That's tough.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about all that.
I'm not even going to ask the regular how you feel about the slap.
Yeah. That's insane.
Before you answer that, you got Beyonce to go perform in Compton to cultivate the King Richard movie.
This is what Will Packer did.
Wow.
So you did all that work.
And then just for everything to get
just to
overshadowed.
Outshine.
Fuck. God damn. Could not.
Because before you answer, because I can see like you're really thinking about it. People are minimizing what happened. It's just a slap. No, it's not just a slap. This is like, for me looking at it, of course I'm not at that level, but you got to put yourself in other people's shoes. People work hard for this. These are people's livelihood. Like, people are comedians, like saying like, yo, that's our craft. You can't just attack it because our craft. You got entertainers who are not happy about it. And then you got like us niggas just be like, what the I'm getting off, which I understand. I understand both sides to it.
Yeah.
But you can't just say it's just a slap. Why are we still talking about it? Because if you really about the art,
it's a lot more to it.
Yes, a lot more to it.
Yeah, from bro's position, dog, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be tight. I'd be tight as fuck. But again, like, that's one of those things you just use as motivation for real. Like, it's like, damn, my moment was not necessarily taken away from me, but it was like something greater happened that caught people's attention. So it's just like, the fact that I was even able to be in that position is enough for me to be like, all right, I could do this shit again and again and again and again. Okay. So it's like, I'd be tight, but I'd be more inspired by it than anything.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily inspired by the slap itself, but inspired by the moment. You get what I'm saying? Like the impact that it had. It was like, even the fact that my name's attached to a moment like that is still like something great. You feel me? This shit niggas finna talk about like 50 years from now, the time that nigga slapped the other nigga. So it's like, you feel me? Like, my name's attached to it. So now it's like, I'm more motivated to keep getting myself back to that moment and, you feel me, surpass that.
Gotcha. Now,
No, go ahead, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask now, from that side, what would you have done if you was Chris Rock at the Oscars on that stage?
I ain't gonna lie, yeah, Will would have had to see me for real.
On stage?
On stage.
Oh God, you walked on stage to tap me, boy. It's up. It's up.
Off stage though.
No. Right then and there. Right then and there. I'm gonna fix him. Yeah, I'm gonna fix you because you bold enough to walk up on me like that. Like, granted, Chris said what he said. You feel me? Not to justify anything. It's just a matter of like taking it from discourse to violence. It's like there's a step involved, and it's like you were bold enough to take the whole world. Yeah, you was bold enough to take that step, that step, and slap a nigga, knowing that it's gonna come with humiliation and what's gonna come with that shit. You feel me? It was like you tried to bitch me in front of people. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat that quietly.
Now, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you can't do that in front of white people." I don't care about none of that.
Yeah,
but it's more like I feel you did it, and then if I react, it could fuck me up because
that's true.
They trust me enough to come on and do the Oscars, and I posted it before. I'm a presenter. I'm like, I have all these potential gigs. I can mess myself up in the future. So at that point, it comes to, am I Chris Rock worrying about my $80 million and expanding it more, or am I just gonna be a man at the end of the day and be like, you know what, you ain't just gonna hit me and walk back to your seat and start yelling at
type
me.
Shit. I mean, that's one of them things though. I don't think Chris Rock like thought about all that shit in that moment.
I don't think he realized
it was just happened. More so like he got slapped and it's like
it was shock.
Yeah, it was just really shock. Like if it would have been like he was having like a real nigga moment, it was like the boys would have started fading. But it was like I don't think he like sat there and processed like all the ramifications that would have came with him like proceeding to beat Smith ass. You feel me?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I think if that after the slap, Will Smith started going crazy, like he was screaming and stuff. I think if that would have happened before the slap, I think this whole shit end differently. I think they do squabble.
Because
they would have definitely.
At that point,
would have been there.
Yeah, at that point, you're yelling at me. Then you coming on stage. Yeah, okay, I know.
Chris would have been braced for it. The moment that nigga started walking towards him, because like I guess that's the thing too. I watched something on TikTok today where Chris was talking about how he has some kind of disorder.
A non-verbal disorder. He can't read people's like actions or gestures. Like somebody could be mad at him and he won't tell until like it sets in.
Yeah, so it's like that, like
which makes sense because you see how he reacted.
Yeah. It's like after he got slapped, that boy woke up and it was like, fuck. I don't know though, like I wouldn't want to be either man in that situation though. You feel me? Like just all the shit that came with it, and like the situation funny as hell. Like me and my dogs was looking at it, and it was
I've been enjoying the jokes. Don't get it twisted. The jokes that came. Nah.
Like I watched that shit and I'm like, wait, this nigga Will was laughing and then like he got up. I was like, bro, that is the funniest shit ever,
the jokes that came from that is some of the best comedy.
Hell yeah. Most stuff.
Let's switch off of that. Who do you have any like ideal people you want to work with? Entertainers, musicians.
From whatever aspect.
Damn.
Could be like one or two.
Ideally, yeah, like a nigga like Kanye for sure. Kanye for sure.
You fuck with a documentary?
Yeah, that shit. That documentary is different, man. Yeah. Like, but sorry to veer off a bit, but like the documentary itself, I remember I avoided watching it when it first dropped. But, you know, everybody's watching it, everybody's sharing their opinions about it. And I was like, I just wanted a completely like pure thing about it. You know what I mean? So I watched it recently when I was in Atlanta. And like, question. So what were y'all take away from the documentary? Like, what did y'all gain?
I feel like it helped me understand Kanye, which I still feel like he's crazy. Like he has issues, but you understand where some of those issues come from, or you understand that he's kind of always been the same person. Yeah. But through certain experiences, certain stuff got enhanced. Yeah. And then you just realize how much of a creative genius he really is altogether. True. So I think that's what I got from it.
I would say, well, I got two things from mainly. One, I think he really been on the ground. He really had to get out the mud.
That's real.
Grassroots.
Even from digging up that mud, he always said, I'm going to be up there. Like when Jay-Z was that guy, I'm going to be there. Yeah, like, man's producing for Jay-Z, but he go to the concert, he's like, just behind, like, just like a regular guy. Yep. But you would think that, okay, you producing for Jay-Z, this, that, and the third. He still had to fight his way into that immediate inner circle. Yep. So it's like sometimes you work around people like you might be working around somebody that's really like popping, whatever, and just because you have that relationship, you think they're just supposed to like open the door, like, hey, you know, type shit, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I got that out of it, and it's just his genius, bro. Like, like some of the songs that he had it before he was even popping. Like,
yeah, that's like
before he even did the album. Yeah.
You feel me? And that was one of the things I felt like I took away from it was just that perseverance. You know what I mean? Like not letting anybody like slow your shit down. Like a no isn't always a bad thing. If you know how to take your L's and redirect that energy, you could do some real lit shit. But then like what I also took from it was like it's important to have purpose, right? It's important to have that sense of purpose and that sense of direction. And the reason I say that is because Cootie pointed out something very, very important in the documentary that stood out to me more than anything. I think it was around the second episode or so, and he was just like, the bigger Kanye got, the closer he wanted his mom around, right? And when you look at Kanye up until like that moment, it was just like everything about his ego, his drive, what he wanted to be was all fueled by Donda. You get what I'm saying? Like Donda was the reason Kanye was Kanye. Like this was the reason Kanye was rapping.
She breathed life into him.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, it's like this is the reason Kanye's rapping. This is Kanye's motivation. You get what I'm saying? And it's like at the time that she passed, it's like there's no purpose now. It was just like he always knew to create. You can't take that away from him. He's a creative genius, but now it's like it's creating with no real purpose for real. You get what I'm saying? So that's why even when like, you know what I'm saying, like now the whole situation with Kim and Pete and all that shit that's going on, it's like them kids are his new purpose. That's his new Donda. And it's like now you're trying to take that away from him. And it's like, can you imagine what Kanye would have been like, let's say, whatever the situation might have been that they were trying to take his mom away from him, right, while she was around. It's like, we probably would have seen a similar Kanye to what we're seeing now. It's just like, without that sense of purpose and direction, it's kind of like he was just like free flowing. Because one thing that's really key about Kanye, I remember from the first episode, was him talking about he just really wants a lot of people to hear his music. He just wants to be heard. His whole thing, I came to realize, is about impact.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily impact in the sense of like I'm trying to better anybody's life. There's no purpose behind it. It's just like I just want impact, right? And it's very true to the point. Like you see, Kanye got into fashion.
Yeah.
It's
Impact.
like, yeah, you see that Kanye's already like, I ain't saying he's off fashion already, but it's like, it's not the same, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
same type of energy that he was on a few years back. It's kind of like he had his impact. He came in, made Adidas #1 again, had my impact. Now it's like, all right, what's next? You feel me? Go back to the music, like,
Got you.
you feel me? But that was like the key takeaway from that. It's just like moving with a purpose and having that real sense of direction. You feel me? Like, because you can get lost out here so quick. On game, you can get lost quick, bro. Like,
it's good you say that because I want to pivot to this because I wanted to ask earlier, but you kind of segue. As trash is growing, fuck it. As from where it was when it first started to where it's at now, did you ever have a moment where you had to pivot?
in what sense?
Pivot, like, as far as the structure of the company.
Oh, most def. Because it was, you got to think in its inception, it was not supposed to be a rapper's platform at all. I was against it. I was like, I don't want to make another platform for rappers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be artists.
Yeah, I was like, everybody makes a platform based on rappers. And so even our business model was just all based on music videos and shit, right? And then when things took a turn, it was like, okay, how do we redirect and figure this shit out? To this day, it's still we still figuring a lot of shit out. But I'll say like it's a fun ass process in doing so. So now we're at this point where we've managed to pivot things in a way where content creation across the board is just like, it's insane. Like the level that we're producing content and putting content out is crazy, and the consistency of it. And yeah, it's just like that was really the main thing. It's just like once the performance series took off, it was like, fuck, we can't necessarily be stressing music videos anymore. I'm like, this shit right here is about to take off. And then last year was very key for us in the sense like we were shooting a shit ton of music videos, but what happened is nobody was dropping them. So we shot like a whole bunch of music videos, but nobody was dropping them. Niggas was just like keeping it on tuck. Niggas like, yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this.
Because after you shoot it, it's up to them.
Yeah, it's up to them to drop at this point, right? So now it's like, what the fuck? Like, when the fuck y'all niggas finna drop for real? And next thing you know, we end up in this position where we end up not getting booked for as many music videos. And it was kind of like, damn, how else can we make bread? Because at that time, music videos was like our key money maker, right? And so we ended up like pivoting our business model to more so appeal to the labels and figure out how we can make as much
money off them. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that gave us the breathing room that we needed to get creative with like everything else that we do, like interviews and all this other shit. It was like, if that didn't happen, then we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today.
So another thing I want to ask you, so from the financial part, so because you at one point, you probably feel like that to this day, as a upcoming business owner, creator, CEO, whatever you want to be called.
Yeah.
Financials have to go into your business.
Oh, most def.
So at what point did you feel like, the money that I've put into this, the money that I put into, I'm starting to see it. The fruit
it's interesting. I still don't feel like I'm at that point yet.
Okay.
I don't think we're at that point yet. It's more so like we're at a point where we found a way to make like good bread with trash, but it's not like in the sense of where I'm getting any return on investment or anything like that. It's more so like we're making bread and then we take it and we put it right back into the brand.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like that's what pays for the other members of the team. Like the rest 6, 7 of us, it's kind of like, all right, this is gonna pay these niggas. This is what can pay for marketing. This is gonna pay for that. And then it's just like we just stack. Yeah, it just keeps cycling over and over. You feel me? But I feel like that point where everything kind of comes together, and even on the financial side, to where it's like the shit just goes insane, is once we finally pull the trigger on our first like real event. Not necessarily real event, but more like like a concert or some sort. Like once we get into the event space heavy, that's when it's really all. It's gonna be a culmination of all that. But
Like
for right now,
or something.
yeah, you feel me? So that's really like just like for folks. That's what Trash Mag is headed. Is like we about to go crazy with events. Like you about to see some shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's about to be some shit outside. You feel me? So
is it hard because even with us, right? Like we call it, me and him call it the DJ Khaled effect. Right?
mm-hmm.
Just when you're reaching out to people, like, cause obviously we have a podcast, we try to get people on. You reach out, some may respond, some may not respond, but you just, or they be like, okay, they want to come on, but they be like timing whatever, but you keep like
keep trying.
Yeah, where do you like put the boundary? Like, damn, is this business or is personal? Like, well, if you ask somebody to come on, right, and they be like, okay, I'm gonna come on, and then
they keep pump faking,
like where do you be like, damn, you know what? People got their own things going on, whatever the case may be. It's not personal, but then you gotta be like, bro, fuck, man, come on, bro, stop pump faking.
So, damn, boy, because it's a lot of that. It's
you
a
said
lot
that,
of.
I think you said with Mooski.
Yeah. It's one of those like, how you say it? If you want it bad enough, that shit don't matter. Yeah, you finna keep trying. And even as I say that, there's been instances where people have pump faked, and I just stopped responding to them altogether. Like, I've had situations with like some of our most notable acts that have been like pump faking on time. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a da da da," and the time comes, and it's just like, "Okay, you want to go ghost?" And then they'll hit me up after the fact, and I'm very big on like, I give people, you only get one chance to like fuck me, so it's like make it count. You only get one, and I'm like, you better have fun while you doing it. So it's like, regardless of who the person is, it's like I'm not finna like try to spin a block on you, none of that shit. I'm gonna just let you vibe. You feel me? And how the universe works out is like eventually they come back around and they're like, damn, you know what? I was tripping. And I mean, it's not even just the universe. It's like niggas see the numbers. Like, there's folks we've tried to do performances with, interviews with, that would kind of like just brush it all to the side, and then they see like the last couple months, they look at TikTok and they like, wait, these niggas go viral consistently. Like, how the fuck are they doing this? And now I'm like, oh yeah, let me get on, bro. My bad, I was just tripping. They're like, nah, like, you feel me? It's interesting though. It happens often within this space, because just as much as people like send artists our way, we still practice reaching out to people. Yeah. You feel me? That's the one true way to do this shit. Like, even for y'all, like, it's key to always just keep reaching out. Just keep reaching out. Motherfuckers gonna bite. You feel me? There's a tier of people and artists that are like, they're just trying to get press. They're trying to get press everywhere they can. And you gotta seize those opportunities, because that can pole vault into something else, right? Like, I'm speaking on that in regards to like when we first started with our series and shit, the way we used to get a lot of people in was we would send them our Spottem episode. And people would be like, oh, Spottem, yeah, Florida, boom, boom, easy win. And when Beatbox took off, they was like, oh yeah, Spottem. So we send them the Spottem episode still. And then like when we're doing certain women, we're gonna, hey, here's Suki. You feel me? Everybody knows Suki. Like, just different shit. When it comes to our interview series, we're like, hey, here's Hot Boy, here's Fredo Bang, here's this nigga, here's fucking Terry Reloaded, here's Smooth Geo, all these different people that you might be familiar with. And it's just about that. So it's like for instance, like where y'all at, you get somebody solid in here, like an artist with some kind of following. It don't gotta be nothing crazy. Just somebody who's a bit more influential than most. And you'll be surprised, a lot of these niggas is really cool. It's all a matter of your approach. For real, and putting yourself in the right positions to be around the right people to even be able to have a conversation with these folks. But a lot of these people are cool, because one question I tend to get is people are like, oh, who's giving you the hardest time? Who's been the most difficult to work with? Ain't none of that. Everybody's been cool as fuck. Everybody comes on set. Everybody's just vibing. Everybody's chill. Managers got the same kind of energy. Like, everything just be all love. You feel me? So, yeah, like, I say for you, just keep reaching out, bro. I'm telling you,
because there's a certain level of summon that goes into it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, bro, it's the most summon of niggas that get on.
Yeah,
it's not the niggas that. It's the reason is, bro. I figured out this shit about like last year, right? There's two sides to this, right? There's a group of people that's gonna sit around and talk, and they're gonna talk about the nigga that's being sued, the nigga that's in everybody's face. They sit around and they have fun, poking fun at that person. It's like, yeah, this nigga out here doing that, nigga da da da. This nigga look funny as hell. Whole time, bro done advanced himself into a position you couldn't even fathom while you sat at home talking crazy. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like I remember I was going through a period last year where I just really was not fucking with Twitter at all. Like Twitter was always my primary thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it reached a point where I'm just like, yo, all these people do is sit around and like talk about what the next nigga got going on. I'm like, at what point do you want to stop being the person talking about people and be the one that they talk about? When do you want to flip the script? You know what I mean? Like, and that's one of them things that kind of adjusted a lot for me, even in how I move. I'm like, bro, I don't care to be the nigga I don't want to sit here and just be commenting on social commentary on shit and talking about what other folks got going on. Like, make me the center of conversation. Like, I don't want to, and like, even for videographers, a lot of videographers get off on the fact, like, on the outside looking in, people see it as cool. They be like, yeah, you get to hang around this person. You on this nigga jet. You on this nigga boat. You doing this and that. Mm-hmm. It's a cool story to tell. Yeah. Like, I could tell you, it's like, yeah, bro, I was on the boat with Melvin Gordon. We was da da da. That shit sound cool to tell in conversation. But I remember one of my first experiences like that. I was on a yacht with somebody. And it's like, the shit was a dope experience. But in the back of my mind, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this shit cool, but I'm like, these hoes ain't even here for me, cuz. Like, these hoes here for him, and I'm just here to shoot him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, fuck, I need to flip the script. So, like, that's how I look at shit. Like, even in regards to a platform like Twitter, like, I feel like so much of it is just people that just want to comment on everything else going on in the world. Like, you know, if you just stop for a second and just really, like, just focus on you and, like, you know what I'm saying, show who you are, you can win. Like the dancing gorilla nigga. I remember when he first hit the
whole
scene,
time. That's
bro.
what I'm thinking of. I seen you say something about that.
Off the rip when he first came about. I was like, he's finna pop. Reason is, it's not because he dances fire or anything. What's gonna happen is so many people are gonna make fun of him, and the reason people make fun of the shit they're insecure about. We hear it all the time, but it's the truest thing. Like, people are just insecure that they can't be the one that's gonna dance in public, be looking like that in public. It's like, whole time you talking about him, that nigga's getting the bag on that side.
Ads, sponsorships, whatever.
Everything. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I just encourage for people in general. It's just like, less talking about what others is on and focus on how you can be the center of that conversation. You feel me? Man, it don't necessarily have to be like of a literal conversation, but you don't want to be the nigga that's invited onto another nigga's boat. You want to be the one that's inviting niggas and bitches onto your boat. Yeah. You don't want to be the nigga that's like on the nigga's story and you in the passenger seat of his Rolls Royce or his Range or something, right? You want to be the nigga that actually owns that bitch and is driving that bitch. Like, that's how I look at this world for real. It's like,
okay. Now, lastly, because we got to wrap it up, I want to ask you for TRSH MAG going into 2022. What are the plans? What are
you can divulge?
Yeah. What are the next things?
Man, so in the last couple of weeks we had a couple big label meetings, and I can tell you, it's all of it is headed in the event direction. Like, they're really like diving into us doing events, and it wasn't something that I came into the year where I was. Go ahead.
You've been doing these seminars.
Oh yeah, like the little workshop events.
Yeah, workshop events. Yeah. What made you want to, like, you just wanted to like give back to the city in that regard, or like what made you want to do that?
Because
that's dope. By the way,
when we had our studio space, right? Each Monday was dedicated to, like, that's really where we did our meetings, right? I was just like, let's just meet on Mondays. I was like, nobody have to worry about shooting or editing anything. I'm like, let's just meet, go over everything that we need to, and then when we did that, we started. It was like, fuck it, we might as well open this up to the community, right? So we used to host these things called content meetings. And so at the content meetings, we'll just invite people from the community. Like, if you're familiar with us, pull up to the studio. Wow, okay. Folks was pulling up, and I'm like, all right, y'all, like, let's hear each other's ideas. If you feel like you can help this person out with their idea, you feel me, lend a hand. Like, let's work as a community. Like, because I come from, like, looking at shit, like, everybody talks about want to do shit together, but nobody does it. Nobody ever hits the gas. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's invite this. Let's create this environment for people to really sit down and talk. And so that was going on at the time. And then that was probably like about like a year or two, probably like 2 years ago, right? And so a about a year ago is where I revisited the concept for it again. And I was like, bro, we got to do this. But of course, like, now it's like we're operating without a studio space. So it's like, how do we do it and still keep it very, like, on point? And there's this group, 2711. They have their studio. And it's like, dudes are some of the, like, they dope as fuck. Like, to me, you feel me? And I was just like, this makes all the sense in the world to collaborate with these guys. So they get it. They get how the scene is out here. And so that whole thing is really about just giving back to the community, like, at scale, like, to the point where it's like, when you go to different places, like, for instance, Atlanta, that's a big thing people like to talk about. Like, it's this camaraderie, this brotherhood. And it's like, it's not necessarily just that, per se. It's more so like, people are more willing to give you free game. People are willing to, like, oh, yeah, I can connect you with such and such. Like, oh, you trying to meet such and such? That's my cousin. Like, you feel me? All types of crazy connections like that. In Florida, though, what happens is people get the knowledge and they either try to hang on to it as tight as they can, or they just leave the state. And now it's like that knowledge is gone. You feel me? Them connections are gone. And so I had to, like, step back and look at what we have going on. And I'm like, you know what? Like, Broward is moving in a very, very interesting direction. Florida's moving in a very interesting direction. It's becoming a hub for real. So a creative hub at that. So I see it as like, damn, let's bring these content meetings back. Let's, you know what I'm saying? But let's spin it differently. Like, we'll still gather people around off the basis of similar interests, but we're not necessarily going to be like going around and see how we can help any and everybody with their ideas. It's more so like, I'm gonna bring somebody that probably has knowledge in the field that you want to fuck with. We're gonna put you on.
Gotcha. And then, so you got at events, you have more show ideas that you want to launch this year?
Man,
I'm assuming, of course you do.
I got shows on top of shows, but
stuff is actually scheduled for this year.
Yeah, like our week show Higher Learning is scheduled to come back this year.
Okay.
But again, that's one of those things. I'm getting the infrastructure on point and shit like that. But yeah, so we got that coming. There's another like food-based show that I've been like fucking around with that I want to get going and shit. Like,
gotcha.
It's a couple really lit ideas. Like, I'm about to be on some shit, but
gotcha.
You feel me?
And then lastly, the last thing I'm gonna ask you, just to give like a quick shout out, because you know you're in the culture about you trying to push it forward. What are some of the artists, musical artists that you've seen that are like moving right now that like you like could say like, okay, that person could be like next. They're a few songs away or one song away. From
within Broward specifically?
Or, yeah, if you want to do South Florida or
right. For me, for sure, it's NWFK Money.
Okay, yeah.
That little nigga is talented. Like, I feel like he's just a few songs away from really making a wave for himself. And then Jado 38.
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, we've had him on.
Jado is a remarkable talent, bro.
Yeah, he's
like,
dope,
that nigga,
for sure.
That nigga is insane, bro. Like, so Jado, fucking Zai 1K.
I seen you did something with him. Yeah,
Zai is like the thing that's very, very dope about Zai, and what people are underestimating is like Kodak came up, right? Kodak came up and he popped off because he had the streets on lock. When you look back at like people like XXXTentacion, the whole members only clique, and niggas that was popping off in Florida around that time, and even people who popped off afterwards, it was strictly an internet presence, right? It wasn't like nobody was knee deep in these streets like Kodak and Sniper Gang to really pop off like that. And it's like, for the first time since X and them boys, we're seeing somebody pop off in Broward off the strength of the internet.
TikTok.
It's different. Like, we haven't seen that since like 2015, 2016. Like, granted, we have a few other Florida artists like, what's bro name? I think it's like Snot, Koshice, a couple other niggas from Northern Florida that are really like, y'all probably didn't know these niggas. These niggas doing millions of views with Lyrical Lemonade. You feel me? Like, these niggas on some big shit.
With Lemonade,
and these niggas like Florida shit. You feel me? So, and those are kids that popped off on the internet. But as far as like Broward goes, it's very limited. So, you feel me? Like, it introduces this thing where it's like rappers like K Money and Jado 38 who aren't necessarily the most like street niggas like Kodak is. It's like, hey, internet, you should pay attention to what's going on in Broward too, because we just gave y'all Zai 1K. You get what I'm saying? But aside from them three, who else is really lit out here? Of course, Low shimmy is
Low
fire.
shimmy. Yeah,
Low is fire.
Yeah, he
I
seemed
slept,
like he
I
on
slept on low for the longest though.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I slept on him for the longest, but
Was it the sound?
yeah, it was just like I wasn't captivated by none of that. I was more so fucking with Heem really.
Yeah.
I was like, Heem had it. You feel me? Like, I like this is it. And then I remember we did something with Low back in like December. Like Val hit me up from New Era. He's like, yo, let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's work. Let's get Shim on there and shit. So he performed this song called Clock. And I was like, damn, like this song kind of hard. And then a few weeks later, I heard this song called Scars. So this is all recent shit.
Yeah.
I heard Scars, and Scars made me a fan for sure. I was just like, all right. I like Low get it. You feel me? Like Low got it. And then like the last person, terms of like, honestly, but that shit tough. Cause like everybody I'm thinking of right now, that's like for Broward for me. That's pretty much it. But then everybody else I'm thinking of is just like the rest of Florida. Like this kid named Hurricane Wisdom, who's like about to be like the next raw wave. Like that nigga's stupid fucking gas. Like there's him. There's fucking this other kid named like OG Swamp Baby. It's like all these other niggas that are like y'all don't know about them now.
Yeah, but eventually
in a year y'all can come back to this interview and y'all gonna be like, this is who this nigga is talking about.
Yeah.
And these boys are like, they're signed to that label I was telling y'all about.
Yeah.
And them boys got bangers. Like, especially Hurricane Wisdom. Hurricane Wisdom is like a secret weapon for that label. It's like, that's their raw wave. And it's not that he sounds too much like raw wave. It's like, he just has this like, his singing ability and his raw talent is insane. And he's like from this place called Havana, which is right outside of Tally, I believe. And it's like
small town
shit. And bro is just like gifted. Like his whole demeanor, he's only like 17, 16, 17. Okay. Like bro, baby face. You know what I'm saying? It's just like niggas like that. But yeah, them five right there do it for me. For real. Like
Most def. Well, Sasha, appreciate you for coming through. It was a great conversation, man.
You gave us an hour and 17 minutes of your time. Chopped it up.
Nah, man.
Appreciate that, man.
I'm gonna say though, I appreciate you know what I'm saying, stuff like this because it's important to really give like that perspective of shit that a lot of people don't get. Yeah. And then like even doing stuff like this, I really love doing it because it's like I believe in cross promotion, right? There's like a certain crowd that's tapped into me that's now going to be hip to what y'all got going on, which I think is fire. Like even the people that y'all interview, like I was looking at it on my way here, like some of the people y'all have done, and I'm just like, this is some different shit. Like you feel me?
Appreciate it, man.
Nah, y'all, big ups to y'all and what y'all got going on for real. Just keep that motherfucker going.
That's love, most definitely.
Well, my last question. I can't get off the couch.
Oh yeah.
Everybody this question. Who's one person that if we can have them on saying where you saying that right now that you would like to have on this podcast? But the key to it is you have to be able to get them on.
Shit, me, y'all boys tell me who you want, man.
Hey, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Y'all motherfucking tell me who you want, man. We can line it up.
That means we gonna talk off camera.
Yeah, you know that.
Y'all motherfucking tell me who y'all trying to get at. We can line it up.
Don't worry about it. I
say, you feel me? But for real though, I say like one person I think personality would do really, really well on here. Is this short named Sexy Red.
Sexy Red.
She's an artist. She has this very like she's a sookie kind of personality, but she's very like hood with it. Yeah, and I love hood boogers. Like I love it.
Sexy Red.
Gotcha,
yeah,
okay.
But no, y'all boys, let me know who y'all trying to
follow. Appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tap in with everything this man is doing. He's pushing the culture forward in Broward. TRSH MAG, Sauce McGraw. Tap in with him. And yeah, appreciate for having you, bro. It's Kyle the Kid, Mega the Boy, and we out.
Yeah,
you did.